Good morning, welcome. It's Grandpa Butler here again. We're going to do Yellow Warbler, and since May of 2021, we started experimenting with these watercolor crayons and ink drawings, and we've had a lot of fun. Uh, Last couple weeks, Grandpa's kind of got into a Van Gogh impressionistic mode where he's not always left more of the pigment than usual and did clumps of pigment like Van Gogh did. And he's trying out this mister here after he puts in the artwork. And so we're going to do that today even further and try more abstract stuff. So it's another one of our art experiments. We'll see how it goes. This yellow warbler here, common in the West, migrates in the summer, goes back to Mexico and South America in the winter. We're going to put this beautiful bird in his yellow, put the sun over here, yellow, and we'll have some evergreen trees along there. The branches here will be this English red and cinnamon, these different shapes of green, dark green, and whatever I've got here will be for our plants, both in the leaves and the forest down here in the foreground here, moss red. And then the sun will be yellow, and then we'll have the abstract nature that it's going to have a kind of red sky around the sun just for fun, to see what we can do. Okay, let's start with the bird. Okay, so again, we didn't even, since we're headed to more abstract, we didn't even put in all of his lines like we normally do. We just put in a few of them, and let's see if Grandpa deals with that in a gracious, kind, and an artistic manner here. Has some blue in his feathers, at least this male. Picture this male I have here. So we want to get some of that in there. Let's put a little bit of ochre here in his bill, and then a little bit of red, crimson red on his claws coming down here. Okay, and there's bits of on these male birds. There's bits of orange here, and we'll get those in there, here and there, and blue in the wings here of these absolutely gorgeous birds here. Thank you for spending the summers with us, and we hope that you vacation well in the winter in Mexico, and that we can treat you as well as those south of us undoubtedly do. So because we're going to spray a little bit more, we've been doing this sort of chunky Van Gogh style by spraying with the mist, and decided that at the end we'd look at after it's sprayed and see whether or not we just need to leave it and let it dry, or maybe touch it up with a brush. So that's a moment by moment call on our part. But instead of wetting the brush and stroking it afterwards, we're experimenting with this, starting in with this mist, and then taking it from there, leaving that as an option. Okay, I think that's enough on the bird. I'll put those over there. Now we've got to get our tree in here. The leaves here. Okay, and when we missed it, it will come out. So in the keeping with our Van Gogh style, let's put a little bit of green here in the tree here and there, in the of the leaves. Put them in the. Maybe it's a reflected light. Maybe it's just for fun. let's do that. And let's bring in some other lines, kind of homage to Van Gogh and Impressionism. We'll do kind of streaks of lighter green here, and maybe here even in our branch, but mostly we're going to use the English red, especially on the opposite the sun, which we plan to put up here, and some cinnamon here. So we'll do this as kind of create an impressionistic style, as much as Grandpa can do that, since Grandpa is just having fun. Got this idea when he was yesterday having fun with some grandkids, daughter-in-law, and thought we ought to mist and try a bit of abstraction here. So thank you, my lovely family, for your encouragement. And before we do the sky, let's do the trees. Now, yeah, so if the tree line's right through here, the green's hitting the bottom there, then the sky is up there. I think that's about right. So I'll just put a line kind of through here. It's going to be our tree line, and sort of irregular here. And yes, that's as good as Grandpa can do on trees, but maybe we'll come back and touch it up a little bit too. Okay, and then in the foreground we'll have sort of a mossy kind of look here. Okay, so there's some greens. Let's do a line up and down here as if we mean them to have more of an up and down structure here, and get a few different shades of green. At the very bottom, a kind of dark blue-green to indicate shade, lots of shade there, and maybe here and there just touch it a bit, because we like to have fun. And shadows in there. And I want to leave lots of pigment in here because of our experiment here today. And this is on the fly, and if you've been patient enough to be with us through some of our other experiments, thank you. If you are having difficulty with our experiments, then sorry about that, but it's the way we're doing it. Just that we pointed out these are really real-time experiments, in part because we want you to feel like you can experiment too. These are not tried and true kind of methods, but sort of ad hoc. What if we did this kind of in the moment kind of decisions that we make here? And my sweetheart, my girlfriend of 50 years and wife of 49 and a half years, is reminding me that we don't want to worry about every single leaf. Probably just give the impression of leaves is more than enough. And she's right, like she is about so many things. So here is the kind of brown here. So this is fields, and in the fields there's bits of vegetation, bushes here and there, and so we're going to get those here and there vegetation bushes by doing a little bit of red, which we'll have in the sky as well. We'll have to see what we think when we do have it both in the sky and in here as kind of bushes. You just never know. But that's why you do it, right? You're going to have fun. And let's put a little bit of actual blue here on the very bottom, just because blue is a fun color, and because we want to create this kind of shadowy effect. And so again, we're headed for kind of an abstract look. Now, most abstract thing about it's going to be the sun. So the sun's going to be over here. Is that a big enough sun? And okay, so we're going to have sun here in the middle, and then we're coming out with oranges around it here. And we could do little dash dot lines, but I think in the interest of time, we'll do kind of circles here. How's that? And get it done within the hour and a half we've allotted for this video here. So we're going to get darker and darker reds as we come further and further away. Okay, and so that's kind of a first order of orange here, and now we go to a second order, a little bit more reddish orange. Now, if it was my grandkids, they'd already have all of these colors all across in. They are also talented in so many different ways. But I hope that what they realize more than anything else is how much they're loved, how much you're loved, and that it's okay to do experiments, have fun, and try them out. And if it doesn't turn out quite how you pictured it, maybe that's actually a blessing. Okay, now let's come around here. Let's go up with our next kind of, let's go up a couple of notches here with this darker red here, and come around our bird while we're thinking about it here. And down here. So brighter red for the contrast right in there when we do it. Okay, so this is going to be heavy back here. Okay, so lots of red contrast in there. We want to have these lines show up. When you do a Van Gogh style, if you do fewer of these lines, then you sort of got to come back and move your brush over them. If you fill in the page with lines, then you don't have to. You just stop at misting. So it's sort of the difference between creamy Van Gogh, where you bring your brush in and don't do so many of these lines, and crunchy Van Gogh, where you sort of need to fill in almost all of these spaces, and everything that's not filled in was kind of conceded to be planned that way, left that way. So Grandpa's going to get out a pink here and just go around here and color in most of the whites that are at least close by here. Because the sky here, I want to have it be sort of a definitive. I want to leave it alone. I want it to be a chunky Van Gogh style, right? I don't have to run my brush over it. Okay, so here we are. And now what Grandpa's got to do, besides getting some green under the bottom of this bird here, and the trees here and there, and maybe a kind of crimson red. And speaking of that red in the sky coming down on my bird here, how about if it comes down on my trees as well? Okay, so I'll put the top of the trees like a bit of the red of the sky. Let's see how that turns out. Okay. Yeah, I kind of like the potential of it that I see. But let's mist it all up and then see how it goes. So misting it all up, grab a piece of paper to protect all our other properties here. We got a little mister here. And we'll mist the sun that way. Oop, maybe almost a little bit too much mist. Certainly makes it come brighter, huh? I think I got the thing too close on that. Now, it's been about a minute since I sprayed it. I paused the tape here for a second. So I'm thinking if I take my brush here, and maybe I can make it more abstract by just having going away from the sun here. Oh, that didn't quite work, did it? Maybe I shouldn't have waited so long, huh? Like I'm trying to pull the trees as if that sun had an effect. Let's work on the branch here and see if we pull some of that. Not really. Okay. How about the bird? Some of his colors down away from the... not really either, huh? Okay, well, not what Grandpa expected. So I think Grandpa, I'll do a little bit of touch up here in the foreground. Leave the sky basically as it is. What if we stroke? Can we get more color? Yeah, I think we can get more color. Okay. Wow, we've learned a lot today, haven't we? Okay, brush is good after the misting. Okay, but it's a little bit of the colors are a little bit more dreamy, a little bit more abstract than we've had in the past, and I kind of like that. Let's let it dry out for a second and take a look again. Hi. We sprayed more water, and we let it spread out a little bit more. And overall, I kind of like it. The more I look at it, the more I like it as a more impressionistic kind of approach. So we'll be doing more experiments along this line. Hey, thank you for watching. You have fun too. Experiment. Enjoy life. Engage in it. Thanks. Bye.